I don't care. How old was she? Was she an adult or not? That's all I care about. Oh my God. He might be too flirtatious, especially being married. But as long as the girls are of age, I don't really care. We can realize that he's a shitty person without it being predatory. Those are two separate things. These two are so annoying. They're sitting here like, there's so many things are happening with Joe. It's so weird. He got us comp tickets and then he put us up at a hotel next door to his and he's such a weirdo and he's weird and he would do weird stuff. They're flirting with him. So far, we have nothing. We have a bunch of adults that flirted with Joe. And then this girl who was an extra. They ate with the other extras. This is so strange. They're horrible people. They didn't sit in their throne and eat alone. They sat with the peasants. Let's get this going. I don't know why I didn't expect a whole slew of new Joe Gatto allegations, but we got more stuff that we got to take a look at. So we got to do our due diligence. So let's start with this article here. And then there's like a bunch of people that have come forward. I haven't seen their stories at all. So this is just fresh. This is completely fresh. There's quite a bit. So let's take a look at this. So we're going to start with this article from People. In Practical Joker... Wow. Let's slow it down. Let's start down. In Practical Jokers, Joe Gatto accused by second woman, a former employee, of inappropriate behavior. I honestly wouldn't doubt it. Because this guy's like 50 years old. And unfortunately, older people are not as good when it comes to respecting boundaries. Just days after a woman accused Joe Gatto of sexual assault, a former employee has come forward about her negative experiences with the comedian. I'm going to have to zoom this in. I'm an old man. Sorry. On March 20, a TikTok user who goes by, we read this one, Juicy B, accused the Impractical Joker star 48 of allegations of assault her when she was 19 in a series of now deleted videos. And so far, like what we had from that really boiled down to she met him at a show. She was of legal age. They were flirting back and forth a little bit. She went home. She hung out with a roommate. She got a little drunk. They started doing like the private mode Instagram messages, which are basically, I think, like Snapchat. They like disappear. They chatted. And then she went and met up with him at his hotel. And all she showed us was a bruise, and she didn't even give us any details about the story. So it seems like, based on what we have, I lean towards it looked like it was a consensual interaction that she might have regretted, but we don't know. She didn't give us any additional information. And you kind of like, if you're going to put this into public opinion, you kind of have to give us that additional information if you want people to believe you and help advocate for you. Innocent until proven guilty. You got to kind of show us more. So, allegations which he denied. Now, a second woman, a source who previously worked for Gatto during his time on Impractical Jokers, claims that the comedian exhibited unwanted behaviors that described as sexual harassment. When reached on Sunday, March 23rd, a rep for Gatto referred people to the comedian's previous statement. In response to the original allegations, the March 22nd statement said, "I have used poor judgment and as a result have violated the trust of people I love most." I assume that this was talking about how, because he just got back together with his wife at this point, and then a week later cheats on her with this girl. But anyone who knows me at all knows full well that I wouldn't assault anyone. The second complainant did not allege that she was assaulted. Working on myself is an ongoing process, the statement continued, and I am now going to take some time away from the public eye to focus on my energies where I need to. The second woman tells people that she first met Gatto at one of his live shows when she was 15 and claims that as soon as she turned 18, his behavior shifted, becoming very flirtatious. She was employed by the comedian prior to his departure from Impractical Jokers, which he announced in 2021. But she started the job just after graduating from college. One of the comedian's previous employees warned her that she perceived him to be sometimes be flirty and handsy. The employee also told her that Gatto often tells inappropriate jokes, which, yes, of course, that's his job, and advised her to shut it down immediately if they did anything creepy, the source claims. And she says she quickly learned why the warning was issued. During her time working for the Impractical Joker star, the source alleges he occasionally inappropriately grabbed her and asked for back massages. She also claimed Gatto once invited her to his room and asked her to cuddle. Gatto also made frequent inquiries into her sex life, she alleges. Jesus Christ. The source says Gatto would brag often about being in an open relationship with his wife, Bessie, a claim she now suspects was false. I'm going to assume that is false. The couple, who share 2 kids, split in 2021 after 8 years of marriage and later got back together, which was apparently, I think it was May 2023. Gatto privately responded to her post on social media to tell her she's hot and acted possessive, getting jealous when she would post photos of her actual boyfriend, she claims. Do we get to see those messages if he posted them on there? Does she have those available for us? When she rejected his advances or refused to flirt back, Gatto would be rude to her the following day at work, the source claims, noting that she felt as though she always had to work to keep him at ease, fearing she could lose her job. So if this part's true, And again, we have to get more verification. If this part's true, this would be the issue of power dynamic, right? The existence of one doesn't mean that there's an issue. We talked before, the other girl, just because Joe Gatto is famous and rich and popular doesn't mean that he can't consensually interact with his fans. If you guys actually felt that way, you'd be calling out groupies, but people don't. They don't really care. This is different. This is somebody that allegedly worked for him and allegedly would, treat her differently if she didn't interact the way that he wanted. That's an abuse of a power dynamic, if true. And so that would be an instance, right? Because he could potentially pull out on particular job things, like some kind of a promotion, or he could treat her better or worse based on her level of flirtatiousness. If it's true, again, we need to kind of prove that these are true. But this was part of a larger pattern of alleged emotional manipulation, according to the sources, which continued until she left his employment after 2 years. The source also claimed that the comedian once grabbed her upper thigh while the two were in a hotel elevator during a work trip. In response, she moved across the elevator while Gatto allegedly told her he knew that he would make her uncomfortable during the trip. During another work trip, the source alleges, Gatto insisted his employees come back to his room to drink, despite publicly claiming to be sober in interviews, and frequently boasting that he's never had a sip of alcohol before, per the source. Though Gatto himself was not drinking on that occasion, the source claims he encouraged others to drink around him. Okay. Did I need to read all this? Or is this just in everything we're going to take a look at? And in the office, which was actually a 2-bedroom apartment, Gatto frequently joked about bringing girls up to the freight elevator so they would not have to go through the building lobby, something the source says reminded her of Juicy B's TikTok testimonial. Well, she didn't say she had to go through a service elevator, so that doesn't really make sense, but okay. In the since-deleted TikToks, Juicy B alleged that she was assaulted by Gatto while he was in Milwaukee for a show in September 2023. She claimed that Gatto sent her instructions on how to get to the hotel room, and somebody led me to the elevator before she alleged the assault occurred in the hotel, leading to the bruising on one of her buttocks, right? She said that he bit her. That didn't look like a bite to me, but I'm also not a biteologist, so I guess I wouldn't know. While she did not go into detail about what allegedly occurred next between her and Gatto, Juicy B claimed that some stuff happened. Yeah, that's not really enough. And then there's a hotline in case you're assaulted. Yeah. All right, let's actually take a look at the messages. All right, let's start with this new one. You're just thinking it's a small thing that happened. These are all the new allegations, by the way. The world ended when it happened to me. Haha, no shorts. Okay. Do it. I don't know what that's in reference to. You get now you get all tucked in. Ha, you get it. She sends a video. That wasn't for you. That's why I unsent it. Haha. Ah, I see. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Is your tongue out again? So what? Was it comfy? Oh yes, it was. I'll be there tonight. Very excited. So glad I knew you were here. I barely even have to drive. Who are you coming with? You gotta come back to say hello. Okay, sounds good. After the show, go to the merch table and get the bracelets from Mark. Joe Gatto, that's my girl. You look great. Hugged you tight. Haha, blocked the light. That's my girl. So great to see you again. Literally was already missing it when I was with you. Genuinely best night of my life was seeing you. You're adorable. I'm glad that you and your girlfriends had fun. Sorry I didn't get to meet them, but I'm glad I saw you. I would go to your show a million times if I could. Come to Indy more so I can see you again. Get to a show in 2025. Might just have to go on a road trip. And she says, hey there, hey. So she initiates this conversation. On January 7th, they must have just got back from the J6ing. Good girl, keep trying, don't give up. She sends a video. I don't really know what this is. This seems like a back and forth flirtatious relationship. How old is she? Like, I don't understand who cares? what do we... I don't really understand the issue here. These are just flirty texts between two, I'm assuming, consensual adults, or are these not adults? Is she not an adult? Hey, so that's actually a minor. She's a minor here? Is she? Like, do we have that info? Okay, let's keep going. Best sleep I've ever gotten. Photo, you love it. How could you tell? You sticking your tongue out. Is she a minor here, apparently? Why is... Oh, yes, it was best sleep I've ever gotten. Photo, you love it. How could you tell? Got me, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. All right, this is him. I guess... You have a situationship, you can block him and never see him again, but I have to see him every single day on screen on TikTok and TV, fucking commercials popping on my YouTube, popping in my fucking Instagram feed. The butterfly effect is crazy to think about. What if he never commented on anything that day? Am I being groomed, guys? Okay, wait, what is this? Do I not know how this works? December 1st, how old is she in December 1st, 2024? How old is she now? Okay. She said, am I being groomed, guys? Will you only feel bad if it turns out that they kill your contract? Thanks. Oh, let's go backwards. Joe Gatto mentioned you in a comment. Have a great day. Happy birthday, Harper. Joe, I love you so much. Today's my birthday. Can you wish me a happy birthday? I like your comments. Such a talented, hardworking man. Your kindness and positivity you don't get unnoticed, Joe. Okay. Thanks. Okay, I don't know what's happening here. Well, how old is she? She's sending us. I'm not trying to be an asshole. What's the point? So far, let's say she was 19 when they first spoke. That was the other girl. I don't know how old this girl is, and we're just watching a bunch of flirtatious. I don't really care that they were flirting publicly. I care I care how old they are. This is so annoying. Jesus, people need to organize their information better. Has anyone who first came to your house thought they accidentally walked into an indoor dog park? Many times. There's them hugging again, more hugging. This is me and my mom, and we watch you every day. We have a lot of awesome memories because of you, and I can't thank you enough for everything you've done. Thank you so much for the kind words. Love being part of your lives to make you smile. Stay strong. Keep smiling. Did you get my kid's book? The way you take the time out of your day to respond to me just shows how true of a person you are, Joe. I want so bad. My mom's going to order it tomorrow. I can't wait. Very excited to read it. I might not be a kid. Can't read what this fucking says. You put it out, will be gold. I'll buy it. Okay, whatever. Yeah, listen. I mean, so far these seem flirty. I guess if you want to be charitable, you could argue that older people don't necessarily know how to interact with the internet in a way where they aren't engaging in parasocial behavior. So maybe he is just responding to all of his fans to be nice. Frankly, it seems like he's flirting with this person. That's how I would interact with, that's how I interpret it. But I want to know, how old is this fucking person? I really am. Wow, how horrible it would be to share a blanket with you. Really, am too kind. I know, right? Atrocious. I don't need a blanket. I'm headed to Boston right now, and it's cold there. All right. This person inspired me to make the post. My story is not as bad as her, but I similar interaction with Joe. This is your sign not to idolize celebrities even when they're favorites. It's really hard to make a video. Then judge and blame all you want, but when the celebrity who you really looked up to is responding to you, you want to do anything you can to keep them to like you because you feel special. He made me feel special. He made me feel seen and heard, and I was obsessed with him. Sometimes he would go days with responding to me 24/7, and then he would ghost me, and then he would come back and always unsend messages. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. How fucking old was she? Was she an adult or not? That's all I care about. Oh my God. I need to know how old this person is when they first start interacting with is there anything here? Do we have something here, or what is going on? Is this the same girl? Oh my God, this is just so annoying. Because here's the thing. What was the first thing that we had just seen? Oh, there's a bunch of stuff out here. This is what we started. There's a ton of information in a row. We're gonna watch all these. All right, let's see. Is she going to have a claim of how old she is?
I got sexually assaulted by Joe Gatto.
Okay.
She is not lying.
Well,
I can't believe I even have to come on here.
Well, do you know her? She didn't give us enough information to have a firm stance on what she said.
And defend this woman, but I felt like I need to share my side of the story because if I stayed silent, I would feel like absolute shit, especially if this were to ever end up happening to another young girl.
Okay,
also,
I got sex
to share on this woman, but I felt like I need to share my side of the story because if I stayed silent, I would feel like absolute shit, especially if this were to ever end up happening to another young girl. Also, ignore my god-awful self-tan. I need to wash it off. I just want to preface
priorities, girly.
This by saying I in no way claim for my situation to be anywhere near as horrible as she went through. My situation was...
We just don't know how horrible her situation was. I mean, we don't know. She didn't give us any explanation. She just said that they flirted back and forth and they met together at 3 a.m. Like that. She didn't even give us anything. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
So much tamer, and thank God it did not go nearly as far as hers did. But I still feel like I need to share my story to show this is not a one-time thing, and he does this stuff to multiple girls. I will not.
Yeah, he might be too flirtatious, especially being married. But as long as the girls are of age, I don't really care. We can realize that he's a shitty person, without it being predatory, right? Those are two separate things. He doesn't have to be predatory to be shitty. But we're not sitting here talking about whether he's shitty or not. I care whether he's predatory or not.
Not be sharing anyone else's story because it is not my place. If they ever feel comfortable and when the time is right for them, they can come out about it. But I just want to preface this by saying I've spoken to multiple young women who, I've spoken to over 4 multiple young women who have gone through the exact same situation as me, if not way worse than what I went through with Joe.
Okay.
And there was multiple.
And that might be true. I just need to see evidence. We have nothing so far other than flirtatious messages. Are you an adult in these messages?
Screenshots, multiple pictures, and everything showing all the proof. But again, it is not my story to tell. I will only be showing my side of the story. And if those women ever do want to come out, they can. If you know Joe Gatto, you know that he left Impractical Jokers a couple years ago.
Sure.
And no one really knew why. It was very random, very suddenly. He claimed he left to go co-parent with his wife, who he was getting a divorce with at the time. It was never finalized. They never got the divorce, but they were going to get the divorce, but it never ended up happening.
I mean, from what I'm seeing, I wouldn't doubt. One thing I'm very confident in is that Joe is a piece of dog shit when it comes to his wife. So what it seems like to me, potentially, is that Joe became popular on Impractical Jokers. It went to his head. He started surrounding himself with women, and those women were interested in him now because he was famous. And so he cheated on his wife. And so he took a step back from Impractical Jokers to focus on his relationship with his wife, which he didn't seem to do very well with. That seems to be the most logical thing from all the information we have. Again, we need to see more actual predatory details here. I don't really care that he's flirting with you publicly. How old were you when the flirting happened? She still hasn't told us, which leads me to believe that she was an adult.
The real reason he left the show was because he had a personal assistant who he would constantly sexually harass, say inappropriate stuff to, who he would send inappropriate gifts to and messages to. She was very
I think that's another person that we're going to look at after this. So, but I want to hear her story.
young, like late adult teens to very early 20s. And if he had not left the show, they would have taken him to court and it would have gone public. And now,
that might be true. I have no idea.
keep in mind, this is all alleged.
Okay, well so you shouldn't be talking about it if you don't. Okay, doesn't matter. I want to hear a story.
If Joe really wanted to leave the show to go co-parent, it does not make much sense that right after he left the show, he immediately announced his comedy tour going all across the world, and his kids were never with him, if ever. Okay. They were with him like one time. He was not co-parenting. He constantly mentioned his career at the Impractical Jokers. He went on multiple podcasts, posted multiple things, started a bunch of different stuff, and wrote an author's children's book. It really goes to show how he obviously did not want to leave the show. And I think that if like you watch how he interacts with people, you will see how he did not want to leave the show. He had to leave the show because it truly does not make any sense.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I need more. Why doesn't she give me your story? She's giving me like alleged stories from other people. I need her story.
For him to go co-parent, but just keep trying to
I thought this was her
get
story.
more out of his career and not have his kids with him ever. Now, this was kind of the start of everything that happened. I started commenting on his Instagram posts, and he would reply to me and send me messages, like, just on comments. And I remember freaking out, screaming, crying, fangirling like crazy because I had been a huge fan of him. I told my family about it. It was a whole thing. These are just some other times he had
Yeah, great. How old were you?
replied to me on Instagram, like just through comments. And then eventually I said, what the hell? I'm going to DM him. He's never going to respond. So right here is someone you can read and screenshot. But basically I just told him how big of a fan I am of the show.
Okay.
He replied to me. Everything was very innocent, like nothing weird. And we would continue to DM from time to time. Again, nothing inappropriate.
And how old were you and how old did he think you were?
Nothing out of the ordinary, but he obviously made me feel special because I was like, wow, this celebrity who I have looked up to is responding to me and actually DMing me, like we actually like have a relationship, like we're becoming friends, not friends, but acquaintances. Like, wow, like I feel so special, like I want him to like me, I want him to keep responding to me. Okay,
I don't care. Like, listen, here's the thing. He might have done some bad stuff. I don't care that Joe Gatto talks to like adult age, consensual aged girls and flirts with them and makes them feel special. I don't care. Like, we have to grow up as a society. Not a single person ever criticizes any musician that gets together with groupies. They do the same thing. They make these people feel better. These are good about that. They feel special. They sleep with them. Those people want to sleep with them more because they're popular, they're successful, they're famous. And that's your right. If you're an adult, you have the ability to make decisions. You have the agency to make decisions. So if you're an adult and a rich person messages you or a famous person messages you, like, I feel so good about myself. That's cool. Okay. You're an adult. You could just not interact with them. Now, if you are their employee, that's a totally different situation. And apparently another girl might have had that situation. That's different. Then we have actual real power dynamics. Like, you could get fired for not interacting with this person. But because you like a guy, because he's famous and popular and it makes you want to talk to him more, and he talks to you back and you guys flirt with each other, I don't care. It's time to grow up. You can say no to people in most situations. The power imbalance. I don't care. Like, we have shows, like, nobody gives Hugh Hefner a problem. You know what I mean? Like, nobody gives any of these people a problem. I do not care that you like a successful, famous, rich guy enough and you flirt with him or even sleep with him as long as you're an adult. I don't care. We need to stop. I do not care. The conversation about power dynamics on the internet, they don't understand what a power dynamic is or means or what it means to take advantage of a power dynamic. You liking a guy a lot and doing anything for him, that's your problem. You're an adult. Just don't do those things. If they're not under some kind of duress, it doesn't matter. If he's your employer, it does matter. So just don't flirt with the guy. Okay? I don't care. If you were an adult, I don't care.
Found out he was where I lived, and I texted him and I was like, "Are you still there?" He said, "I'll leave 2 meet and greet tickets at the box office for you. Come say hello after. You gotta come back and say hi."
Am I doing all this if I don't care? I care about the story. Oh my God, sorry. You guys are new. I care about the story because I want to get down to it because these are good social conversations to have. I do not care that you feel upset that as your celebrity liked you and you felt inclined to message with him and flirt with him because he's famous. You're an illegal adult. I don't care. There's no predatory behavior happening there. Okay? Power imbalances exist everywhere. Your mom has a balance over you. Like, men and women have power imbalances. Like, everybody has it just matters if that power imbalance is being abused. And in order to abuse a power imbalance, you have to say, I'm a rich, famous guy. I will do this for you if you sleep with me, or I will do this to you if you don't sleep with me. Then there's a problem. But if you just like a guy and you're just like, oh, I like this guy because he's rich and famous, I don't care that you talk to him. You're not a victim. Was she 16? She hasn't said her age, which means to me, rather, not confirms, that she's probably an adult. So,
obviously, once again, freaking out. Oh my God, he's giving me special treatment. He wants to come say hi to me. He doesn't do this for just anyone. All of that.
Okay.
So this is me and him the first time we met each other. Still nothing like out of the ordinary, but I met him. He recognized me. He was like, "Oh my gosh, Harper, like I remember you."
Harper, what a
literally
name.
made me so happy. I remember going into the bathroom and like crying, being like, my idol remembered who
You think she's 16 years old? Why hasn't she said her age then if she's 16?
I was from like just a tiny little DM conversation. This is me texting him. "It was so great to see you." Again, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing.
This looks like this was last year. So how old is she?
Then I have too much DM conversations to go through them all, but we kept DMing, saying stuff, led to me meeting him a second time, right?
Okay.
This is me and him meeting again for the second time. And during the second time that I met him, we were much closer than he immediately knew who I was. I was like the last person in the meet and greet line, so me and him probably talked with each other for like 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
He gave me multiple hugs, just not inappropriate. Again, I am not saying that this is assault in any way. Just very touchy, very close together. And then I remember leaving, and I get a notification. He texted me, "So great to see you."
Okay.
Right here is the conversation. "You're adorable, blah, 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 glad I saw you," all of that. "You look great, hugged you tight, blah, blah, blah," all of that. Still, I'm not saying that this is like assault. I'm not saying that this is entirely inappropriate. It is a little odd, though, to be saying this stuff to me when you have a...
Yeah, it's flirtatious. We get it. Yes, it's flirtatious. I absolutely believe that he's trying to tease like some kind of potential relationship. I just need to know how old she is, and I need to know if he knew how old she was. These are the two questions that matter.
Wife and children, and I am much, much younger. I'm like, it's odd. It is odd.
Sorry, what was it?
I'm like, it's odd. It is to be saying this stuff to me when you have a wife and children, and I am much, much younger. I'm like, it's odd.
Much younger, which means that she's definitely an adult, right? We understand this.
It is odd. It is weird, especially with the power dynamic. But anyway.
Again, we just use buzzwords. People just don't understand what they're saying. You got to stop. If you're an adult, it does not matter. But just because there's a power dynamic doesn't mean that it's being abused in some capacity. You liking a guy because he's more popular and he's famous does not mean a goddamn thing to me. I do not care. You're an adult. You have the ability to make decisions. You are of legal consenting age. If you think that we need to raise the age of consent, that's fine. Advocate for that. But the reality is nobody cares about groupies or situations when anybody does anything like that. Nobody cares at all about that. So I don't care about this unless you are a fucking child. Unless you're a child, I do not care. Okay?
Anyways, a lot of texting, saying certain stuff like this, a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, just us texting, lots of stuff. Again, just not appropriate. But I will say, people being like, "Well, why'd you entertain it? You hearted it, you liked it." It is very hard, I think, for some people to understand when somebody who's a celebrity, who's giving you attention, who you've looked up to, of course you're going to want them to like you, of course you're going to want them to keep responding to you, because he made me feel special and he made me feel heard. Whenever
I don't care.
I had a bad day, I would talk to him and he would make me feel better and like I was worthy of something. And then eventually, I have this blocked out because there's personal stuff at the
I don't care. I'm so sorry. If you're an adult, I don't care. I don't know how many times I have to say it. We're going backwards in society where like legal aged adults are now children. You have the ability to make your own decisions as an adult. We've gotten through the majority of your video and not once have you claimed that you were underage, which means that you were an adult. There are multiple people in the story. This is one of the ones that was an adult. You liking a celebrity and wanting to do things to make them like you is not a abuse of a power dynamic. Okay? Nobody calls out rock stars or any musician. Nobody calls out the groupie dynamic. It's the same dynamic. I do not care. So far, what he's done wrong seemingly is flirt with other girls when he's married, which I think is disgusting behavior. But outside of that, and you should judge him for that. I think it's pathetic. But outside of that, you are an adult and you like a celebrity. And so you're talking with him and you're going back and forth flirting with him. You're not in a situation where you couldn't pull back and just not. You can just not flirt with him. And if you're like, well, I want him to like me more, then don't want him to like you more. Like, what do you want me to tell you? You're an adult with agency and the ability to not do things. If there was a celebrity I liked a lot and they weren't willing to talk to me unless I flirted with them, I would just not talk to them. Okay? It's not that deep. Now, if she was employed by him, totally different scenario. But if you just like a guy and you're willing to flirt with him, grow up. That's a formative moment for you. Okay. Like I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Enough is enough.
Top. But he sent me this and I was like, what do you mean? Like, and then he was like,
it's ridiculous.
Off your shorts. It got unsent. He would unsend a lot of messages and I kind of like diverted it, like the subject, and I was like, oh haha, like I wish I had shorts with your face on it, because I was like earlier showing him a link I had with his face on it.
Yeah, he was unsending messages because he knew what he was doing was wrong, because he was cheating on his wife probably.
And then he sent that. And then he went and do it. And he unsent that as well. He went and do it.
Yeah, she was. She hadn't said that she was assaulted. She said it was just a bit of odd because she had a wife. No, but that's the thing, is that's not what she's doing. She came here with this video, and then she immediately said that we have to believe the first girl who came forward, even though she didn't give us enough details about how she was assaulted. Then she told a story that was an alleged story that's not even her own story, about how he was inappropriate with a coworker, and now she's telling us her story. She's overloading the conversation morally and trying to make it seem like this is another instance of him being a predator. Because she is saying that, just to be clear. She's like, power dynamics. She's constantly bringing up power dynamics. She doesn't really know what a power dynamic is or what the actual explanation for the problem with it is. She's constantly saying it. So when you're like, well, she's just kind of telling her story, she's not. She's morally loading her story here to make it seem like she was also predatorized by him. That's why she keeps using terms like power dynamic. And I was younger than him, even though she was a legal adult. This is like she's communicating through those words in that way, just to be clear.
Again, I diverged the conversation, and then he said that wasn't for you, that's why I unsent it. But I'm pretty sure that it was for me. Saying stuff like this, he would always ask me to send him pictures with my tongue out, and just like certain stuff like that would ask me to send him.
They call that the ego face. Call that the ego face, guys.
Like different kind of pictures. I don't know if I included this earlier, but this is when I first met him, and he gave me like the free like meet and greet backstage tickets. This is an example of him on sending something. I sent him a picture of me with my blanket with his face on. He said, "You love it." I said, "How could you tell?" He said, "You sticking your tongue out." And then you can see how the message is unsent after like he unsends it. I screenshot.
I don't see that, but I believe you, sure.
That one in time, but it was gone. But I got it in time. This is me and him hugging, by the way. Yeah. The picture of me and him together. My face is blocked out.
Cool.
I blocked it out because I just don't want that on the internet. Just also show y'all, not pulling this out randomly. This was from December 25th. Someone asking me what happened because I posted a video about this a while back ago, but I deleted it because I was scared he would see it. And I told her what happened, but I unsent.
So this was from like 3 months ago. She was an adult. She still is an adult. I don't know what to tell you.
The messages because I was scared. But you can see her say the bald one was always.
Okay, the bad news is okay. What is this?
Cuter anyways, talking about myrrh. He also does this too, like a lot of other girls you were adorable, saying the same thing to me, just always being in young girls' DMs. And there's another girl that I know who he really sent very inappropriate stuff to. He even got her Snapchat and he would say and ask her to send very inappropriate stuff, but I'm not here to share her story.
I don't care unless she was a child. That's all I care about.
At the end of the day, this is not sexual assault. I didn't get sexually assaulted. I didn't, like, nothing illegal happened with me, but I'm just sharing my story to show he is still very inappropriate. You should not blame the victim, and I'm 100% believer because this has happened to multiple other girls. Joe Gatto has a very young daughter, and imagine, I can even, like, imagine if someone was doing this to his daughter, someone was using their fame to groom and manipulate and make younger girls feel special.
Grooming, you got, just to be clear, you guys need to understand what the term grooming means before you start throwing it around. Him talking to and flirting with consensual aged younger girls is not grooming. Okay, it's almost impossible to groom an adult. All right, but just to be clear, grooming is an intentional, methodical process of setting typically a child up for typically sexual exploitation. It is very manipulative. You do this by generating a trust onto you, by destroying the relationships with other people around that person, like if you disconnect them from their friends, their family, you instill like levels of fear on them, etc. You talking to somebody that's an adult age is not grooming. Like it's almost impossible to do that. They would have to have like some kind of an intellectual disability or something. Like joining a cult, you can group somebody into like a cult if you get them in a very vulnerable mind state. But you really you just can't just say the terms. You're just using terms that you don't know how to use. Like you guys are just saying terms. Oh, grooming. You don't really know what that is. You know, you could also group people into a gang or something like that as well. But like, this is not what this is. So far, that is nobody's being groomed here that we've seen. But okay, it's just buzzword central. But okay.
Well, also cheating on his wife and making a children's book. It's just disgusting. And him being into the
okay. Well, cheating is disgusting. The children's book, I don't care about. Okay.
The girl, all that stuff. And also, at the time, it didn't feel as wrong as I know it is now because I felt special and I felt like, but he's famous. Like, he's not doing anything bad. Like, he likes me. He thinks I'm pretty. Like,
well, he was cheating on his wife, but
validated. Anyways, thank you for listening to my story. I am so sorry for all the victims that this has happened to. Just stay safe, y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, alleged victims. Okay, great. So, cool. We got that. What else does she have for us to look at? Mur liked my video about Joe. Don't care about this one. More people will come out about him, and they're ready about him. I've spoken to multiple other girls. Okay, gotcha. You are not alone. This is just some other girl saying something. This is him talking to other girls. All right. This is her just making constant content about this. We have to go. Was this a new video? What did I just do? Is this a new video?
Row, and just like not like make out.
All right.
Basically, he told us to kiss 3 times in a row, and just like not like make out or anything.
Please go watch this new.
All right.
Hey guys. Basically, he told.
I guess we got more stuff to watch. Oh my God, there's so much information.
Basically.
Here. All right, we got these two. We'll watch that later because it might be something that we have, but that one will be later.
Hi everybody. I just wanted to come on here to.
She's speaking about her allegations. I don't think I care about her clarifying because she was an adult, so we're pretty good. This is pretty much her just making as much content out as possible. Okay. Time to hit the next story, Sosibacas.
I got sexually assaulted by Joe Gatto.
She is not lying.
Oh, wait, I think we just watched this. Okay, guys, that's not what we want to watch. Oh, this is the next one. Got W editor. W Papa got editor for sending me all the right stuff. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Guys, we're going to talk about our experience with Joe Gatto. Yep.
All right.
So basically, we drove like 3.5 hours to see him because we figured it'd be worth it because we really wanted to meet him. And I mean, everything was good, and we drove really far, and we met him. The show was good, you know, everything was fine.
Gotcha. Okay.
But basically, I posted on my story, and he like reposted it, and then we kind of like started DMing.
Cool.
And basically, like this.
You were adorable. Thanks for coming. You're the silliest next time. I mean, dude, like definitely, dude, so far. I mean, this guy, unironically, just to be clear, unironically, outside of the allegations of like predatory behaviors, though that doesn't seem to be there. But this guy is like a disgusting dog. Like that part, I think, is confirmed with the amount of times he reaches out to young girls. And flirts with them. Like, grow the fuck up. You're a grown-ass man. Get your shit together. I don't care what kind of midlife crisis you're going to. Like, get it together. It's just disgusting. And it's embarrassing for your wife, too. You know, it's disgusting and pathetic. It doesn't have to be predatory for him to be a disgusting, pathetic person, which is what this is what it seems to be. Okay.
This is how it started, like the conversation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So after that, he ended up Venmoing us money for gas and Chipotle.
Okay.
And this is like the notification from it.
All right, he gave you $35. Great.
So basically, I live in Washington State, and we were like going to visit my family there because like we were online dating for a long time, but we were going to visit my family, and we realized he had shows in Washington at the same time, so we bought tickets to his second show, and I think didn't he give us free meet and greet passes? Not for that one, for the third one. Oh. Okay. Anyways, we went to his second show, and we paid for meet and greet passes.
How old are these people?
And the show tickets, and he also let my dad meet him for free, so I'll put pictures of that as well. Yeah, but like this is basically us meeting him for like the second time.
Gotcha.
And basically, he like
why is he so short?
Wasn't being any like weird at first. He was just being super nice. He was like, he met my dad, and we were like still DMing. He kept texting us and stuff like that. But he was texting us a lot, like a lot, like constantly, like more than he should have.
Yeah, you guys were flirting back and forth. Are you adults? That's all I care about.
And then basically, he had a show in Oregon, and it was like a 3.5-hour drive. And we told him that we'd come if he let us in for free. So he told us that he was going to give us free tickets and to get them at the box office.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Chill. I figured blah 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 blah. How do we get the tickets? Go to the box office. Gotcha. I don't care. Okay.
We forgot to say this, by the way. The second time we did see him, he let us go backstage, and his backstage manager named Cha, she took us back there, and we were in a room with him for like only like 5 minutes. It was just a private room, and he was pretty chill. He was normal. We were just talking about the show and everything, and still nothing was weird at this time. And then back to.
I mean, I'm surprised that he's that he's not being more flirtatious with them in person.
Where we're at. But basically, the third time when we drove to Oregon, he let us backstage again. But this time it was like for a lot longer, and it was starting to get like weird.
Yeah, you guys were you. I don't think weird. Why? How old were you?
Yeah. So
Okay.
So we went backstage and we saw him, and again, Chom like let us backstage. Anyways, so we were in this room. It was actually bigger than the other room we were in last time. There was like a whole table of food. I mean, he had everything.
Yeah, makes sense. It's not uncommon for celebrities.
And there was couches and all that. So we were just talking to him at first, pretty normal. And this when stuff started getting weird because he was telling us to kiss. Basically, he told us to kiss 3 times in a row.
Did you do it? Are you adults?
And just like not like make out or anything, but just like a normal, you know, little pack.
Okay.
And so we thought that was weird, but I was trying to make it not weird by just eating all of his food. I was just walking around eating his food. And I was like, so, you know. But basically, he was like, kind of like he was just being so weird. And then he fed me mango, like with his fingers. Like I was sitting on the couch and he was standing above me. He's like, "Do you want a bite?" And then he like fed me with his fingers, and it was really awkward. I was like, right. So then he told us to take a seat with him on the couch, so we did. And he was staring at our stomachs, and he was wondering if we had an innie or an outie belly button. And he told us to lift up our shirts, so we did. I mean, it was kind of, we couldn't not, you know. So
Actually, you could have just not. Like, I don't understand. You could have not. You could have left. You could have done a lot of things. If you were adults, though, you met up with the guy as groupies. This is very common in like rock star communities. I don't care.
We did, and then he asked to touch them.
Wow.
And that's when it started getting weird. He was
Really? That's what started getting weird? Okay.
stroking our bellies.
Wow.
And
did you guys have like an inflation thing going on there?
that sounds so weird, but I swear to God, that's what he was doing. He was literally touching our belly buttons. But yeah, our friend was literally in the seats, like, watching the show, but she didn't come back with us, but she was like there, like we brought her with us because she wanted to come because we were telling her like, oh my gosh, we were gonna go backstage and stuff. So she saw us go backstage and things like that, but she was waiting for us, and we came back and we were like, what the hell? Like, we were telling her about it, and she was like, what the fuck? Oh, and he kissed her on the cheek before we left. He kissed me on the cheek, and he gave us $100 bill. Oh my god.
Wow, for kissing 3 times, $33 a kiss is crazy.
Oh yeah, I have a picture of it. But basically, okay, this is what I was wearing. You see it, like the red jacket with like that yellow wristband for like meet and greet passes.
Gotcha. Did they ever say their ages? Some people are saying that they said they're 18 in the comments, or that, and that they were flirting with him. That's what it seems like. They were flirting back and forth, and they met up with a guy, and he was like, oh, he's weird, and they didn't go back.
And this is a $100 bill he gave us. You can see I'm wearing the same red jacket with the same wristband. It's like over there in the corner.
Crazy.
But yeah, this is a $100 bill he gave us. He whipped it out, and he said, for driving so far, for like seeing me.
One of the comments said they were literally 20. Really? Is one of the comments say that they're actually
Also, before we went to the third show to see him, he was asking us what we were going to wear, and he was kind of saying to wear leggings. He literally said that because he sent like a picture of the weather, and he said too cold to wear a skirt, wear leggings. But yeah, like see, he set the weather.
It's too cold for a skirt. Haha. Wow, that's cold. Probably wear jeans or leggings. We only got 1 pair. We will see what comes to mind tomorrow. I'm sure you won't disappoint. Okay, I guess it was a disappearing message. It looked like so they were they were flirting with him and disappearing message. Got back and forth. Got it. 4th or 5th comment down. It says 18 to 20. Is it really? You know what? I think everybody's comment section is like different because it tries to give you what you want to see. Like they try to do comments too, but I don't know where it says. People are telling me they said that they were 20. I wish we had a confirmation, but we don't. At least I don't see one here. It's convenient that they leave out that part.
Other for Salem, Oregon.
I scrolled past it. All right, so apparently this comment's claiming that they were 18 and 20. I don't know if that's confirmed, but okay, they're legal adults. Cool.
Oregon. And then he said, too cold for a skirt. I said, we'll probably wear jeans. He said, or leggings.
Or leggings, guys.
And then he said, wear the PJs you're in. So afterwards, he felt bad because we had to drive so far to get back. And he ended up buying us a hotel.
Oh, is that why he gave you guys $100? Okay.
Like a $200 hotel.
Cool.
Basically, like, this is all we really have about the hotel because, like, we didn't get pictures of it or anything.
That's crazy. You're telling me that Joe Gatto is consistently having adult-aged women. They're younger, but they're still adult-aged women with full agency and autonomy meet up with him at shows, giving them free tickets, hugging them, all this other stuff, touching their belly buttons. You know, giving him money for food in hotels, and he's not fucking him. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but oh my god, Joe, you're pathetic, dude. Listen, if I was gonna have a bunch of girls and meet up with them, consensual aged adult girls meet up with them, I would have secured the bag. I mean, how are you gonna not be able to secure the bag, dude? That's pathetic. All right, this is what a loser. Oh my god.
We're so like fed up in the moment and like.
Totally lock it in. You can also control F search. Nah, I can't control F search. Look what happens when you do it on the computer. On TikTok, this is what it does now. It gives you this stupid bullshit screen. TikTok is just dumb and they don't know how to do their online stuff. You know what I mean? Like they don't know how to deal with their actual browser. So I can't control F, unfortunately, anymore.
Excited about it because like obviously he's a celebrity and he was like spending money on us. And we were like, oh my god, like what the heck? But he was still kind of like weird in the moment. So we were like, you know. But yeah, this is me saying like gonna buy us one in the same hotel as you. Nice. And then he put it in vanish mode like he did with.
Whoa.
Yeah, but he put it in vanish mode. And he was saying stuff.
It's been in vanish mode since before this. Like we saw it before. You showed us before that it was in vanish mode. Before this, it was in vanish mode at this point. Which I don't know why lie about that. Why be like, yeah, so we put it in vanish mode. It's been in vanish mode. You showed us messages from when it was in vanish mode already. This, like the whole conversation's in vanish mode. What a weird thing to lie about.
And he said he was like saying like it's too risky for me to do that. But yeah, that's why I said smart. But basically he ended up saying like my phone's gonna die, like my charger's in my bag across my hotel room.
Cool.
Like, can you come grab it for me? Because he said that he was in the hotel right next to ours, like the hotel building like right next door. But basically, this is him saying, like, he was, like, next door.
Haha, how close? Oh, really? That's good to know. Well, buildings. Ha. Oh, great. Waving from next door. I see you. Haha, we see you. Wow, how'd you know? Haha, I know. Haha, haha, haha.
I said waving from next door because he said he was in building next to us. But some of it was in vanish mode because he kept putting it in vanish mode because he's smart. He knows what he's doing.
So
clearly he's not. You're taking pictures of it. But okay.
We're at the hotel at this time. The one
what he's doing is flirting with adults, just to be clear.
He bought us, and he's still texting us, and he is asking us for videos of us kissing, making out, nudes.
Oh man!
I mean, all of that. But all of this was in vanish mode.
Yeah.
Not using vanish mode for its intended purpose of talking to adults and getting nudes from them. Ah, fuck.
And he like he knows what he's doing. I swear to God, guys. He was just like he clearly had intentions of like doing inappropriate things like that late at night, putting us in a hotel room like right next to his like building next to his like.
Not only that, but
okay, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, that's probably accurate. But your point, like, I don't understand. He's not like just don't hang out with him. I don't know what to tell you.
We did take a picture of one of the things he did send us in vanish mode, and he called us good girls.
Whoa.
So that was
good girls. Don't slept yet if you aren't tired. Neither are we. We could text all night. We have all the time in the world for you. Good girls. You guys are flirting with them. Okay.
When we were in the hotel and
if we were staying with you, dude. Dude, what are you, these two are so annoying, bro. This is obnoxious. So far, it seems like they're two legal adults. They haven't said otherwise, and the comments said that they're illegal adults. They're young, but they're still legal adults, okay? I can think Joe is gross without thinking he's a predator. And they're sitting here like, there's so many things are happening with Joe. It's so weird. He got us comp tickets, and then he put us up in a hotel next door to his, and he's such a weirdo, and he's weird, and he would do weird stuff. And then you see them typing on a message that says, if we were staying with you, and then it cuts off. They're flirting with him. You guys are legal adults flirting with him. He hasn't abused the power dynamic. I don't care that you like him a lot. You're groupies. People do this all the time. Okay, nobody criticizes rock stars. You're flirting with this guy as legal adults. You're acting like groupies. You're kissing for him in front of him. You're sending flirtatious messages like, if we were staying with you, I wonder how that sentence ends. And you're gonna sit here and like you're just gonna jump on the bandwagon. And so far, all the specific one would do, because we have not seen yet a single case that like actually shows that Joe's a predator. He is a gross piece of dog shit, let's be real. But a predator. All this does is minimize actual alleged and potential victims. You're showing us. You're just showing us that you were like you were totally into it the whole time. This is not good for you. This doesn't make you look good. This makes you look dumb. This makes it look like you're just jumping onto this story for fun. But okay, cool stuff.
Yeah. We obviously were saying we could text all night because we wanted to talk to him.
Wow, really? Why is that? He was a famous celebrity. We're fucking kids. We can't make any decisions for ourselves. Okay, raise the age of consent to like fucking 25 then. What do you want me to tell you?
I mean, he's one of my favorite celebrities. Not really anymore.
Yeah, so obviously
me when I send 15 messages in a row and go, we felt like we had to.
We were like caught up in the moment and come on, no, we're lesbians and like we don't like men, so we were kind of like, But yeah, this is when we were like,
So
What?
he was literally basically begging us to come over to his hotel, saying that he'll sneak.
You just showed us you guys saying you wanted to come over. You just showed us a message that says that. If we were staying with you, how does that end, do you think? You guys wanted to go. You guys were flirting with him. If we were staying with you, what would you do to us? Like, that's probably how it ended. What are you talking about?
So none of his, people on set would see, and he was literally just trying everything with.
Oh, sorry.
And like, we don't like men, so we were kind of like,
Okay.
But yeah, this is when we were like,
So he was literally basically begging us to come over to his hotel, saying that he'll sneak us around the back so none of his, people on set would see.
Okay.
And he was literally just trying everything with the charger, with,
just asking us in general. Like,
in general.
Are you gonna come over? Are you gonna come over? We were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that because.
I don't. Okay.
I mean, we're not like obviously we're not gonna go over there to a 50-year-old like hotel room like in the middle of the night.
We knew
It's
what
like,
he wanted.
Yeah, obviously that's what he wanted.
He was asking us for nudes. He wanted us.
So then why were you still flirting with him? Like, why were you still flirting with him?
Yeah.
And we decided not to go over there.
I feel like they probably sent nudes and they're downplaying it because they want to feel like they're like superior here. This was something that these two young girls had fun doing back then, and now it's like, oh, it's a trend to fucking try to jump on top of this guy and like ruin his life.
Obviously, because we were like, this is crazy. Like, he literally has a wife and
Why does she look so familiar? Why does she look so familiar?
kids. Like, this is insane. And this is all like recent. Like, this isn't like
Does she look a little bit like Charlie D'Amelio in the face or something?
2023.
But also mixed with Rocky from that one movie? What the fuck?
This is like
This
2024. Like in December.
2020.
Why does she look so familiar? What is this? I'm so confused.
I have proof of it. Like, you see the date. It says Salem, December 26, 2024. Like, this is when he bought us the hotel, the night he bought us the hotel. And this is at the show. Like,
Wow, crazy. He got you a hotel at a show.
he put us pretty close, too. And this is kind of like, we'll put some, like, more text messages that were kind of, like, odd.
That we have,
yeah. Like, this one.
She looks like Demi and someone else. Okay, my wife's in the chat. Like, does she look like someone familiar in the family or something? I don't know why she looks so familiar.
This one, he says, I'm in bed. And then he says, oh, Brie, you really miss me, huh?
Still, you got a long day tomorrow. Haha, go to bed. I do. Just kidding. I'm in bed. Ha. We like talking to you. Oh, Brie. Ha, 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 ha. You really miss me, huh? Ha. We both do. Yes, my girl. They're sitting here flirting with him. What are you doing?
Kind of like, we'll put some, like, more text messages that were kind of, like, odd.
That we have,
yeah. Like, this one, he says, I'm in bed. And then he says, oh, Brie, you really miss me, huh? My girls.
They're fucking flirting with him. I don't care.
And this, he, like, said, can we come tomorrow? Because this is when we were, like, trying to come get him to let us in for free. And then he said, tonight, not tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow. Like, that's what.
Hoping that wasn't our last time seeing you. No, why would it be? You ladies are chill. Haha, we're glad to hear that. LOL. We love seeing and talking to you. Makes us happy. Happy to make you smile. I owed you from last time. Now you owe me. Oh, but give me that gift card so we're even. Can we please come tomorrow? Tonight. I mean tomorrow. Yeah. He's such a loser. Dude, Joe is such a loser. Holy fuck.
That's what he says, like, right there. And he's just, like, saying some weird stuff,
Yeah, he's saying you guys are flirting with each other. What are you talking about? You're flirting with this old fucking loser to try to get free stuff out of him. You guys are pretending it's something else.
He said, now you owe me.
So guys, this is basically our experience with Joe Gatto. He basically wanted us to come over and wanted us to do the dirty.
Whoa.
But
not two adults.
That girl who did post about the sexual assault allegations, this is not a video about him sexually assaulting us in any way, shape, or form.
Nothing
It's just them jumping on that trend to try to be popular. Yeah, sure.
physical happened. It was
Nothing
all
at all.
Nothing at all, guys.
But I mean, we're not going to share opinions on that. Like, in my
We
opinion,
don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened. No one will know what happened. Honestly, my opinion, believe the victim first.
Well, we don't even know if she's a victim, and frankly, I don't believe that she is. So it's just another adult that regretted her interaction with Joe because he was creepy. But not even creepy. He was just ugly. Like, let's be real. Like, Joe is ugly, and he has no fucking riz. So these girls meet up with him, and he probably like comes in his pants before he even puts it in a girl, and they're probably like miserable from it. He probably has like a scratchy beard, and he probably like his teeth probably gnash against their gums when they kiss. That's what it really comes down to. That's the problem. So all these girls regret it because he's just, I don't even know why his wife is still with him. He's obviously terrible in bed. You could just see it in the face. That's it. He's gross. He's just a loser. And that's why they're all like, these girls are like regretting consensual interactions with him, and that's why they're coming forward. They're being like, oh, he did this to me, because it's trendy to do on the internet. That's what's really happening here so far.
I'd rather have believe them over a potential like sexual assault.
Especially at what happened to us.
Yeah, because like obviously
Nothing happened to you. What are you talking about?
he's not a great man, and what we should be focused
Oh my god.
on is not teenage girls going to his hotel. What we should be
Teenage
focused on
girls,
is
true.
a 50-year-old man inviting teenage girls to hotels.
Married.
That's the problem.
Married with kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
And when you say teenage, you're trying to make it seem like they're children, right? Yeah.
the problem, guys. Be for real. But yeah, we love you guys, and sorry about the last video. I didn't really clarify a whole bunch, but I appreciate you guys. But this is what happened with us. I mean, everyone has their own experiences, but
If you have any questions, just DM us.
I never want to interrupt. All right, this might be the actual only potential real one, because I think she might have worked with him. Hearing a lot about Joe Gatto, I was an extra on Impractical Jokers movie, and it was the worst set I've ever worked on. Gross behavior. These allegations don't surprise me on a road trip, but I'll post these story time once I get in my Airbnb. Okay, so let's see what the allegation of this one is. This one seems more important.
A lot is coming out about Joe Gatto right now, and I wanted to share a little bit of my perspective because A lot is coming out about Joe Gatto right now, and I wanted to share a little bit of my perspective because I worked on the Impractical Jokers movie when I was living in Atlanta, and it was the worst set experience of my life, so I am unsurprised by everything that is coming out. Okay. I didn't grow up watching the show, but my mom was a really big fan, so I was excited when I got cast, and I think it was for 2 or 3 days worth of work. So this happened in Atlanta. I think it was around 2018. So on the first day, I was not next to them.
I think the movie came out 2020, so I guess it took a couple of years of production. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
For the majority of the day because we were in a club, so we're like in club clothes, and they are downstairs and I am on the second level. So really, I was not seen at all on the first day. You can just see the tops of my feet, but we are all supposed to be clubbing. So after some hours of work, we ended up going to Extras Holding, which was in this big giant white tent outside of the club for us to go and get some lunch. So while I'm there, I'm talking to my fellow background actors that I know from other sets, and they were on the first floor. So they told me that the Impractical Jokers, who I am not super familiar with, I know that their whole shtick is obviously pranks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is their thing.
They told me that they were trying to get the extras to take shots. So they were opening up bottles from the bar. So they're renting this space from the bar. They do not own the alcohol that we are shooting at, right?
I'm assuming they're probably paying for it, but okay.
So they are opening up the bottles and they are trying to get the background actors to take shots and get drunk with them. I guess I shouldn't say getting drunk. I don't actually know if they were trying to get drunk or just get a little tipsy, but they were definitely trying to give alcohol to some of the background actors. And I think maybe a couple of them felt very uncomfortable because you have to imagine the way that these sets work is you are told to not talk to the talent. It is very much stressed. Like even some of the casting agencies, you even have to go through a training where they tell you what you are and are not allowed to do.
So you're saying that they had him on there and then they talked to the I'm so sorry.
This shit's so damn.
Right. So, okay, you're telling me they had him on there and they were being friendly and getting them to drink shots, asking them to drink shots. Were they forcing them? Were they asking them to? And now you're saying, yeah, that contradicts our training, which was to treat them like literal gods and not even reference them or look in their direction. Okay, gotcha.
So one thing that they say is do not approach them. Don't try to get pictures with them. Definitely you would not be drinking with them on the job. So these background actors are being put in a very uncomfortable position because you have these people, positions of power. It is their movie. And they are saying like, take shots with us. And they're like opening up bottles from this Atlanta bar. So that's
okay. I guess you could say like, oh, I mean, did anybody get fired? They said no. You could argue that like, hey, that might be overstepping, but it just seems like they're trying to have fun. So maybe this is unprofessional behavior, but I don't think that this is some kind of bad behavior, but okay.
That's all I heard about that on the first day. So the second day, I end up coming back. You wear the same clothes because it is the same day, right? And I am on the first floor this time. So I am in very close proximity with them. And actually, Paula Abdul was in the scene, and I'll share at the end my feelings on her because she was actually very pleasant. But I was on the first floor, and before the day started, we are back in Extras Holding, and we ended up getting a little talking to by one of either the director, AD, one of the top of the crew. So this person comes into Extras Holding and they start scolding us and telling us, hey, we know that you guys were drinking yesterday and we know that you were opening up bottles and you guys were taking shots, and we are going to tell your casting agency to blacklist all of you if you continue this. Obviously we need you to work today because you worked yesterday in continuity, but that was outrageous and you guys need to not, and we basically got scolded. So at this point, some background actors are like awkwardly raising their hands and they're saying, hey, listen, it was the Impractical Jokers. They were like forcing this on us, and they were actually the ones drinking. And we didn't have much. Like there was like a couple shots, but really a lot of the alcohol that was being consumed was by the Impractical Jokers. When the crew member heard this, he seemed a little taken aback. He didn't seem like he knew how to respond to that, but he didn't seem to believe us. He didn't seem entirely surprised, but it was just kind of awkward all the way around. So he ended up saying, okay, well, listen, guys, if anything is offered to you, you guys have to say no. Say no, right?
So there was a miscommunication. It didn't seem like it that deep. So they were trying to get people to drink. They got some people to have some shots. The next day, the manager or whatever was like, hey, don't do that or we're going to blacklist you from our thing. They're like, hey, they told us to. They were like, oh, shit. All right, well, just don't do it anymore, please. That just sounds like a relatively reasonable interaction with the miscommunication in there. They even seem to listen. You're like, oh, they didn't believe them. Well, they didn't believe the people who said that, but then the tone changed and they were nicer. And they're like, hey, just don't do it next time, please. It sounds like that interaction was perfectly normal. Like it was, or maybe not normal, but it was perfectly reasonable for them to engage with. They didn't realize that the Practical Jokers urged them to drink. When they were indicated that, they were like, oh, okay, well, please just don't do it again. It sounds normal, but okay.
Right, so that is kind of where we left that. Now, throughout the day, they were being kind of obnoxious, and their humor is not my humor, so maybe you guys would think that they are very funny. Like, in between takes, they were cracking jokes, and they were being really loud.
Well, it's their show, and that is what they make jokes. That's kind of their... I don't know if you know this. It's called Impractical Jokers. Okay.
I particularly didn't enjoy it, but hey, it could be somebody else's vibe.
I don't care if you enjoyed it. It's their fucking show.
But I did notice that some of them were talking a lot to pretty girls. And I don't want to say which...
shit. That's so, wow, crazy. They would do that. What the hell?
Ones, because I might be wrong. I'm not super familiar with this cast and who they are. I have it narrowed down in my head to a couple, but I would hate to get it wrong. And I want to make sure that I'm only saying what is true. But I do remember that there was one of them that ended up coming to Extras Holding, and he was tracking down this blonde girl, and he was like taking pictures and saying like, hey, do you want a picture with me? And she was like, yeah, sure. And they were taking pictures. And it was during lunchtime. He ended up coming and hanging out in Extras Holding. And if anybody is familiar with sets and all of that, that's not normal.
What a scumbag. These Practical Jokers, what a scumbag. So you're telling me that they went and had lunch with the peasants of the show instead of just isolating themselves into the elitist corner? What terrible people.
Typically, they eat in a different place. So for the...
Most of this video is her complaining that they didn't act holier than thou to everybody else. This is ridiculous.
Main talent to be in Extras Holding, kind of hanging out with these really younger, pretty girls and taking pictures with them.
All of them are adults. And you know that they're all adults and they're over the age of 21 because they're doing a bar scene, an actual legal bar. So they have to be 21 and older to be in there to do the show. So oh no, I don't care. Like, do people not understand that this is not about whether Joe is like a gross like piece of shit? Because he probably is, and you should judge him for that because he's a loser. He's an absolute loser. But we have assault allegations leveraged against him. The conversation shifts from like, is he a loser? I would say confirmed, absolutely. To, is he a predator? I would say no. And so far, every single person that comes up is just constantly like giving us like just dumb details. It's just so annoying and frustrating. We've got nothing so far. We've looked at 3 new people's allegations, and so far we've gotten nothing. We're like a half an hour into this stuff. This is ridiculous. Oh my God.
It was really weird. Overall, the set was just a mess and had a bad vibe to it. And I got the vibe that these guys, or at least some of these guys, were very creepy. And I figured some of you guys would want proof that I was actually in this. So if you can see here, I know I couldn't get a better picture. I literally spent $4 to rent this.
None of them are saying he's assaulting. They're saying he had bad vibes. No, see, this is the problem. You guys don't know what fucking idea what you're talking about. All of them are saying that. That's why they keep using words like power dynamic, and they're jumping on this story as if he's this fucking predator. What are you talking about? You guys are ridiculous.
On YouTube for you guys. But if you see back there, that is my hair, and pay attention to the romper and the pattern on my romper. And as you can see here, that same romper that I had in 2018. Cool. And there were a lot of other crazy things happening on the set, and not all of it was their fault. But one thing that happened was there was this background couple. Everybody knew that they were together. They worked on sets together a lot, but she wasn't there that day. He ended up cheating on her with another background girl in the fitting room, like in the changing room where we were all getting ready for the scenes. They ended up sleeping together.
Dude, Joe, 2 background actors slept together? What do I care?
And not all of it was their fault, but one thing that happened was there was this background couple. Everybody knew that they were together. They worked on sets together a lot, but she wasn't there that day. He ended up cheating on her with another background girl in the...
Who cares? I find it so funny that somebody is in the comments shitting their pants. Like, she didn't even get to Joe's part yet. Like, wait for her to get there. Play the video. We're at 6 minutes of her 7-minute video, and she still hasn't talked about Joe Gatto. Are you stupid? Like, this is insane.
room, like in the changing room where we were all getting ready for the scenes. They ended up.
Why am I nitpicking? She's saying extra details. You're totally right. I should stop nitpicking over very serious sexual assault allegations. I should engage in the world. This is the problem. This is the problem, and it happens across so many different spectrums. The problem with the way that people interact with the world is how incredibly stupid you all are. This is the problem. You're all very stupid, and you're all very uncomfortable thinking in any intelligent way possible. You look at a situation and you go, I formulated my opinion. I'm done. I've checked out mentally. I've checked out emotionally. I'm incredibly stupid, and I'm just going to pretend that like this is a very black and white issue. This is right, and this is wrong. Okay, that's literally how all politics is going right now. We're watching a very serious allegation that could be life-rooting for somebody. So, of course, we're going to look at this situation and we're going to pick through it to see what is actually going on. We're not going to go, oh, I don't have the brain capacity, can't engage. We're going to actually be intelligent about this. That's what it comes down to. Your life is very simple. You're stupid as fuck, and you engage that way because you don't have the mental capacity to engage. I'm going to look at this a little bit more intelligently. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's what it comes down to. Okay. So far, we have nothing. We have a bunch of adults that flirted with Joe, and nothing happened. And then this girl who was an extra, and nothing happened so far. They give us like this is it's ridiculous. I'm looking at it with a bias. I'm not. I'm looking at it like I'm not a fucking moron. I'm so sorry. Like realistically speaking, like you know what? Here's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like this is like I weigh in on situations like this as my job. Like that's the job I'm fortunate enough to have. So I'm sitting here and we're an hour into this segment and you're popping in on your For You page timeline while you're taking a big fat poop. And you're like, I've already formulated my opinion off of like 3 seconds of a video I've seen. You are so biased. I've qualified and articulated every single perspective I've had here. Okay. So I don't know what to tell you. Okay. So if you want to watch the whole video once it comes out on YouTube, or you want to go to the YouTube stream and you want to watch the whole thing, be my guest. If you don't want to engage with that, there's nothing I could do to save you. There's nothing I could do because you just don't have the fucking brain capacity. You want to have very strong opinions on topics that you are committing very little time to. That's what it comes down to. You have like that's it. All right, that's what it comes down to. Okay, and you can do that. That's fine. But just stop pretending you're fucking smart. You're dumb as shit. So
sleeping together. So then all of the other background people.
Yes, everyone's stupid except for me. Yes. I appreciate the fact that you acknowledge what I'm trying to tell you. Yes, you're fucking stupid. I'm the only smart person in the entire world. All of you, everyone else is dumb. That's it. That's all it comes down to, dude. That's it. That's why I have this fit on. Look at me. It's obviously not what I'm saying, but you certainly are. So
we're like, do we tell our friend? Because she wasn't there that day. So it was just a chaotic set. But like I said before, Paula Abdul was the brightest spot of this entire experience. I was standing next to her at one point, and she was so down to earth. She asked me my name. She told me that she loved my name, and then she started telling me about how her mom would be so proud that she was in this movie. She was just a very humble and sweet person. So I really just wanted to come on here and say, I know some people are finding that girl's.
This was nothing. This was a big nothing video. Why did we watch this?
Story unbelievable. I do not find it unbelievable. I know that he ended up splitting with them a few years ago, and he said it was because he was going through a divorce. There's something weird going on there. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about what I know of their demeanor and their personalities and the pattern of taking pictures with young girls.
What?
I think it is very relevant. So I just saw her getting eaten alive in the comments, and I thought that maybe this might help put a little perspective on.
It doesn't give any perspective. Why did she make this video? She didn't even talk about Joe Gatto.
This is a follow-up to my Joe Gatto video, and you guys are so freaking mean.
Good.
This is a follow-up to my Joe Gatto video, and you guys are so freaking mean.
Good. You deserve people to be mean to you. I hate it when people say something and then what they're like, it's just not supported. Like the way she was talking about before was ridiculous. The whole story where they were in a bar and they were urging other people, like the extras, to take shots, and some of them did. So the next day, the manager was like yelling at them and like, "You can't take shots, or we're gonna have you blacklisted." And then they were like, "Hey, they had us take the shots," and then the manager's like, "Oh, all right, well, just don't do it again, please." And then you tried to frame that. That's the words that you communicated, but you're like, they didn't even believe them. But those are the words that you told us, that they were like, the tone shifted. It's just like insane.
But I'm going to try to answer some of y'all's frequently asked questions. I got a lot of sarcastic comments saying, so what, they bought everybody drinks, like they sound like such great bosses, and they took pictures with fans. What's the big deal? Okay, they were not buying the drinks, guys. This was hosted at an Atlanta bar, so production had found this bar, and they're working with them. They were opening up bottles of alcohol and serving themselves, and they did not pay for this, guys.
You're an idiot. Oh my God. You're telling me they rented out an entire bar and they didn't pay for the alcohol. Why would you listen to these people? Why would you listen to these people talk? She's just making things up to feed her fucking delusions. Hey guys, I worked on a movie with them in 2018, and they had people taking shots, and I don't think that they paid for it. You're telling me that they rented out the entire bar and they didn't pay for the shot? They were just opening bottles. There's no way that they were paying for it. Really? You don't think that that's true? That your most logical assumption is that they stole from the bar that they rented out, and they filled with a crew of extras. That's the most logical conclusion. And how do you know this? Background actress? That just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. You're just saying things. Just, you could say whatever you want. You could just talk. You could just say any words that you want. If the person in the crosshairs is perceived as a bad person on the internet, you could just say whatever words you want and people will fall for them. This is like the fourth adult that's sitting here talking about this as if they're some form of a victim or something. I definitely didn't pay for the drinks. How do you know that? I don't. Oh, shut up. I'm so tired of these people. Like they're jumping on a trend. They literally admitted that they didn't like the comedy of the Impractical Jokers, and then they went and they were extras on the show. And then it's like, okay, you didn't like them already. You felt that things were uncomfortable because they would take pictures with fans, and they ate with the other extras. This is so strange. They're horrible people. They didn't sit in their throne and eat alone. They sat with the peasants. And you had a bad experience because you just didn't like them, and now you're like, oh my god, here's everything I can do to jump on the bandwagon. I'm gonna go fucking crazy. This is insane. This is ridiculous. These people are insane. This is why you want to know why it's hard for people to get believed that they actually are assaulted, because people like this come forward and they jump on opportunities to go try to deplatform people. They don't take it seriously. They're just looking for their time to shine. You have one girl claiming she was assaulted that gives no information, and then your response is to be like, one time I was an extra and they had people drink alcohol and they didn't pay for it, but they probably did, and you're just saying words, and now you just cast doubt on the entire credibility of the entire situation. This is wild. This is wild. Oh my god.
Did not pay for it. That is extremely unprofessional. So they were trying to...
You just don't know that that's true. You're just lying. You're making things up.
To get the background people to drink. If you think that's chill and that's fine, then we will just agree to disagree. Also, drinking on set is not normal, guys. SAG does not run things that way. That is not how it works in the industry. When you see alcohol in scenes, it is always fake. So I know that you guys think that sounds fun, but it's actually extremely unprofessional and not how things work in the film industry.
I don't care.
Like I said, a couple of the guys were really hanging on to the girls, and you could tell that they just thought that they were hot shit, and I don't know, they were definitely flirting with the young background girls, which I do feel...
But they're all over 21. They're all in a real bar around alcohol. They have to be 21. I don't... Again, this is nothing. This is a nothing burger.
Like, is relevant because it verifies her story that they're all over their young fans. And some of you guys were mad that I didn't know which person it was who came to Extras Holding. I am 90% sure that I know who this was, but it was 7 years ago. I'm not familiar with the show, so when I was seeing them, I wasn't taking a mental note, really. I am pretty sure that I know who it is, but I'm not going to throw out, like, names because I don't want to get sued. Honestly, that's what it is. I decided to make the video because I saw how she was being treated in the comments, and it made me sad. If you have been to my page, which I'm sure you have not, I post a lot about domestic violence. My ex almost unalived me, and I post a lot about abuse in the church.
I'm so sorry. Fuck! I can't even do it. We're on TikTok. We have to chill with the jokes. That's terrible that it happened to you. Okay? That's just terrible. It's terrible that it happened to you. This is ridiculous. I'm so sorry.
You see somebody be treated that way when they are coming forward about what happened to them, it made me sad. And I feel like I had firsthand experience with seeing how they were all over young girls, so I found her story very believable.
All over them. They were all over young girls. They're just all over them all the time. These young girls, these actual literal aged adults are 21 and over. They're all over them.
Other comments were saying, why didn't you post about this sooner? Why didn't you call the police? Call the police about what?
Because what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't jump. There's no trend to jump on. I have to wait for the trend so I can jump on it. I think that she's just upset because she's not a blonde, and it seems like they have a type.
They were just being creepy. I mean, I don't know. I felt the need to come forward and just share a little bit about my experience with them, and other women are now coming forward about some creepy behavior as well. And for those who are curious and actually want to know more, if you go and look on Reddit,
there was no creepy behavior in your story.
There have been threads going on for years about something with his ex-assistant, and that being the reason why he split from the Impractical Jokers. So I think
we got to see her allegation, because that seems to be the only one with potential credibility.
There is something there. This is not the first time that somebody has talked about him in this way. And he even released a statement yesterday saying that he was not proud of his past behavior. So he is admitting, guys, that he did some bad stuff. Even if you don't fully believe her, can you
I guess it doesn't mean he's a predator.
Step back and think about the fact that she is a 19-year-old girl who is drunk. She is a fan of his. He's 50 years old. He puts his messages on vanish mode and invites her over at like 2 a.m. So
and she goes. just be clear, because I think that people this is the biggest thing, because we've like poisoned the conversation about consent online. Just because you're drunk doesn't mean that you can't consent. You can still consent if you are drunk. It depends on how drunk that you are, okay? We know that we still assign agency and autonomy to people who are drunk, right? You want to know how we do this? It's called drinking and driving. You still get arrested for it, okay? Just because she might have been drinking doesn't mean that she was blackout drunk. And if she was, I don't think that she'd be able to get into the Uber after flirting with him in vanish mode and then going to his hotel, right? Again, she refused to get into any details about her story. Like, I don't even know what happened. She just said that, like, they had a flirtatious relationship. Then they were flirting in private mode because that's what they were doing. And then she went to his hotel at 2 a.m. Like, what do you want me to do with that? What do you want me to do with that? I don't know. I can't just be like, oh, she must have been abused or assaulted, because she's a legal aged adult. I think he's pathetic for talking to a 19-year-old, but we're not here to talk about what I think is pathetic. We're here to talk about what I think is predatory. These are two very different things. I think a lot of things are pathetic. Okay, that's not the same thing. We have to understand that being uncomfortable doesn't mean someone's predatory. These are two very different things. You have to separate your feelings from the two.
So I think bare minimum, that's creepy, guys.
Bare minimum. Gotcha. Is there anything worth looking at her stuff for? Probably not. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so that was a big nothing burger from her. Do we have anything that's like actually decent or credible? Or we have this 15-year-old. Do we have anything on this? When you remember that when you were 15, you were groomed by an impractical joker and deleted the evidence, so I wouldn't be grounded for talking to a 41-year-old. Okay, that's a real story. Do we have more here that we could see?
Oh my God, for those of you who I told that Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers groomed me when I was 15, and y'all were like, that's crazy. And I knew in your brain, you're like, that has to be real because it's so random. But you're like, also, what the fucking fuck? And then you see all this shit about him getting canceled for being sexual assault. 9 years later, I got my lick back, bitches.
I don't know. Why are you doing a teaser if you were assaulted and then waiting 5 hours to post it? That's definitely a credible one. Do we have anything? Is there anything in this entire story with any level of credibility? Do we have anybody with an actual story? I don't understand. So far, of all of these stories, we just went through a ton of information. A ton. All nothing burgers, all legal adults that talked to Joe when they were legal adults that were flirting with Joe back and forth. They show the messages while pretending it's not true. They're idiots. It's nothing. It's literally nothing burgers. At worst, it shows that Joe is like a loser. Absolutely. But nothing predatory. All we have here is just a person that has with nothing else than this. This is the only thing that's potentially concerning. The second woman tells people that she first met Gatto at one of his live shows when she was 15 and claims that as soon as she turned 18, his behavior shifted, becoming very flirtatious. She was employed by the comedian prior to his departure from Impractical Jokers, which he announced on late 2021. I need to see more of this. That's what I need to see more of this. Because if this part is true, if he started talking to her when she was 15, and then right when she turned 18, he started upping the ante, she was working with him, that there could potentially be something here. But I need to see something here. I need to see more information on this. This is the only potential thing that has any level of potential credibility. But we need it. We need to see more of this. So that's it. We have nothing. This was a whole nothing burger. Unfortunately, this was a literal nothing burger of a situation. Again, until we potentially get this. This is what we need. Do we have any of it? This is ridiculous.